got the sun in my eyes over here, so I'll put my hat down. I'm going to do the best I can. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is banana plant growing 101, and I'm going to show you the parts and how I separate a pup. So I'll get into detail in a second, but basically down on the bottom, let me turn this around so I can see. Okay, down on the bottom you got the base of the plant, you got the corm, you got the roots, you got the pup over here, got a pup that's growing bananas just like this right here, and then you got the parent plant. Now that's a pup. Now this is a parent plant, and if you notice, it's producing a flower over here. And then we're going to come over to this one over here, and this one here has got a nice sized pup. That's the replacement for this, and it goes all the way on up, and as you can see, it's got some nice fruit happening right now. And that one there is praying hands. And then I'm going to walk over there right now and just show you the pups. Those are all pups from right here. This is praying hands. So with that said, let me go over there, because I'm going to go ahead and take one out and show you the parts here in a little bit. So let's go. Okay, so you can kind of see these here were pups, and they're producing some really nice pups right now. Just about all the plants but one are producing pups. So it's really time for me to go ahead and remove some pups. Okay, so I thought I'd make a video. The sun's back of me right now, so I'm probably dark, but anyways, I thought I'd make a video on growing banana plants 101 and what the parts are and how to go ahead and separate a pup. I'm going to try to do all of it in one video. It's hot and muggy out. It's going to take me a little bit. So what I went ahead and brought with me is I got my tractor over here. And I got myself a ladder, because I'm going to go ahead and climb up there to explain what they are and what they do and how they come out all the way down to the bottom. So with that said, let me go ahead and set up the ladder and get going on this. Okay, so the first thing I did was I got myself a label and a graphite pencil. You always want to mark a label with a graphite pencil, because permanent magic markers fade in the sun. You'll never know what it is, but the graphite, it does not fade. Okay, so let me turn this around. Got myself a machete, because I'm going to do a little trimming. I got myself a little tool over here that I'm going to go ahead and remove some soil with. Got myself some scissors to do a little trimming. I got two different types of shovels. They're both flat. This is bigger for more lifting power, and that's flatter for the cutting. Got myself a nursery pot. Got myself some towels so I could dry my hands and get the soil off, because I'm working with the camera. Got myself a feed bag to kneel on, because feed bags have plastic on the inside, so it's not going to get wet all the way through. So with that said, before I start all that, let me go ahead and show you what's going on with my banana plants here, because they're fruiting and they have some blossoms coming out, and we're going to cover it from roots on up. So let's get with it. But first things first, both of these plants are the same plant. They're Orinoco, and that is spelled O-R-I-N-O-C-O. And as you can see, this here is the parent plant, nice and tall. And right over there, that's the pup. and the pup is fruiting. Hard to see with the ladder, but I'll do it from over here. Okay, once again, the Orinoco. This is the parent plant, and it's giving out a blossom now, so I'm going to discuss that. And this right here is a pup that came out of the parent plant that I left, and it is fruiting, or it actually has fruited before the parent plant. That's unbelievable. And to show you the size of it, okay, to show you the size of it, look, the fruit are smaller than me, and that one there is really tall. So I could attribute this to trimming and fertilizer, which we'll get into. Okay, and you also know I got a tripod over here. Well, it's good to have tripods because the tripod holds up the plant from breaking over, and we'll discuss that because I got some down there that I'm going to go ahead and put over there. Okay, so this plant right over here, and there's a lot of pollinators on there right now, and they don't like me getting close to them. So this plant over here, it's a real tall one. It is praying hands, and it's got banana bunches on it right now that are the praying hands. We'll get to that in a little bit. So let me go ahead and start with 101 first. Banana plant 101 from start to finish. I'm going to try to cover it all. Hopefully I'll be thorough enough. Okay, so for now I had to go ahead and remove my ladder so I could get closer to the plant. So let me go over there to the plant and get some close-ups of what I'm trying to describe. Let's get with it. Okay, so right down at the bottom, we basically have the base of the plant. And there's a new pup coming in right there. See it? That's a new pup. So basically, below the base, we'll get into later because I'm going to separate a pup. But basically, down below, you have the roots. All plants have roots below, so there's roots below that. Now the roots go onto a corm. A corm is a round ball, and the roots grow out of that ball, and that's called the corm. Now you got the stalk coming up the middle of it. That's the mother plant, and coming over this way you got the rhizome, which connects the corm to the pup's corm right in between there, and that's where you want to cut it when you transplant them. And this basically here is a sucker or a pup, and basically there you go. That's a pup, that's a pup, and that's a pup that comes out of the parent plant. Now going up to the leaf over here, as you go up more, right over there, actually it'd be easier for me to go ahead and do it with this small one here because I can't reach. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, it's going to be easier for me to do this on the pup than way over there. So right here you got the stalk coming up, and right off of the stalk you have a canal which comes up to the blade right here, the blade of the leaf, and then of course this is the leaf, and then from there we go all the way on up. Okay, I'm up on the ladder now. So right over here we still got the parent plant, which comes up right now, and you see right over here, that leaf right there is the flag leaf. So the first thing you're going to see coming out when it's going to go ahead and blossom, right in the center, you'll see the tip of that coming out, but it'll be smaller, and then as it grows a little bit, it gets bigger like that. That's the flag leaf. And then right over here, that part that goes down to the blossom has a name as well right there. It's a peduncle right there. Peduncle. Peduncle. And that basically right here goes down to the blossom and a male bud. Now, when that blossoms, there's female blossoms that fruit and turn into the bananas, and then there's male blossoms where the pollinators pollinate the female blossoms. So with that said, let's go ahead and go on over to my praying hands, because that's fruiting, and I'll be able to better explain it. Okay, on my smaller pup over here that fruited, basically you got the main stalk, and the stalk comes up over here, and this was and still is the flag leaf, and out of the flag leaf came the peduncle, and then of course the fruit over here. Down below here was the male blossoms, and the female blossoms were on the tips. Now they're all gone. The female blossoms are gone because the male blossoms pollinated the female blossoms through bees, through the pollinators. So let's go on over there. Okay, so I set my ladder up, and I tried to keep my distance because I don't want to get stung by the pollinators, but I'm going to climb up there and show you what it's all about. But right over here, let me turn this around. Once again, we got the parent plant, and we have a pup coming out of it. But the main parent plant, it's pretty tall. I gotta get up on the ladder, and you can kind of see it's fruiting right now. So let me get up on that ladder. Okay, let me try to explain what's going on here. These are praying hand bananas right there that are growing. Right over here is the flag right here. See, the flag came up and it folded right down. So that's the flag leaf. That's what first started coming up, and then out of that started the peduncle, and that went out to the banana hand. No matter what variety they are, those are banana hands right there. And then down at the end over here where you see all those pollinators, let me get close. Okay, I really didn't want to disturb them because they're skittish. Okay, let me just say that the bottom is the bud, and those are blossoms that are coming out. Those are male blossoms where all the pollinators around, and on the tips of each one of the bananas over here, they're all shriveled up now. They're going to come off, but if you see those were female blossoms, and the pollinators over here went ahead and got the pollen and went over to the female blossom and pollinated it, which gave us hands of bananas. Okay, and this is basically how the banana plant takes form. So with that said, let me get a close-up of it over here, if I can. Okay, so I'm up on the ladder over here, and behind me you got the praying hand bananas that have the banana hands on them already, but there's a lot of pollinators on the male blossoms, and if I get close I'm going to get stung. So far they flew by my head and I haven't gotten stung. So let me give you a close-up. You can see the bud, you can see the male blossoms, you can see the pollinators. You go ahead and see the female blossoms that already blossomed and were pollinated. Now they're falling off. And you can see the praying hand bananas that are coming in. So let me get as close as I could so you can kind of see what's going on there. Okay, hopefully that was a close-up view for you. It's kind of hard to do holding the camera out on the tripod, trying to get it close up. If you get too close, it'll be blurry. You get far away and you won't see it. But I wanted to capture the pollinators grabbing the pollen from the male blossoms. And if there was female blossoms up there, that's what they would be doing, is pollinating them. But I'm pretty sure only males are existing right now because it fruited, and that's all the fruit it's going to get. Now the fruit, you know, I'm going to have to water and fertilize for the fruit to really get healthy, big, and plump, and tasty. The fertilization is really important at this stage. So, with that said, let me get down, get another view, and go on. Okay, so I removed the ladder. Let's go ahead and check it out. So as you can see here, you got a replacement pup, you got the main stalk going up. This is the inside color of the flagship leaf right here. That's where the bud or the blossom came out of. And let me get a close up over here. You can see what the praying hands look like right over here. Okay, so some of those male blossoms came off, and there's pollinators on them right now, so I know if I go ahead and grab them, I'm gonna get stung. So let me put the camera down and get a shovel and get them. Okay, hopefully the camera don't fall, but you can see the blossoms with the pollinators up there. What's happening now are these right here are growing in, and the pollinators are getting the pollen out of them, and then these drop off because they're not going to turn into bananas. These are just male blossoms that pollinate the female. And whoo, that was a bee coming for this, saying, what are you doing with my blossoms? So anyway, hopefully there's none in here. But if you look at this, I'm going to break it down. So this is praying hands. So praying hands have two rows. One row right here and one row around there. Two rows of bananas. So let's take it apart. So I'm putting my finger down in here. And as you can see, I'm separating them right here. So you got the bottom and you got the top. That's what make praying hands. There's two sets of bananas all bunched together. So the blossoms, there's two rows of them just like that. Now these are male. The females were the same. They turned into the bananas already. But the same thing, that's what they look like. There's two rows. So if I peel off all the top ones over here, at least half of them, you'll see I just took off all the top ones right here and that left bottom ones. So right here, here's the top ones. I'll peel them off. I'll peel them back. And now this is the second row. You can see this was the first row right here of bananas, of the hands, the top hand and the bottom hand. And this is the second row. And if I take all of them off like this, I don't know if this will come out good on the camera, but I'll try to make it come out good. You can see the two rows. You can see the top row and the bottom row. I don't know if it's going to get blurry on the camera if I'm too close, so let me just do it like that. Okay. So there you got it. This is the male blossom, same as the female blossom. The male pollinates the female, but they already took place. Now the male blossoms, they fall off right down here. You can see a couple of them. They're just laying on the ground. Here's another one right there. Another one right there. So basically that's about it. The male blossoms pollinate the females. When the male blossoms, when it's at its time, it drops to the ground. All the pollen is almost off of it. Then the bees are working the other ones. So right up here, that's a praying hands banana plant right there. So with that said, let's go ahead and dissect the plant and get down into the roots and the corm. Let's go over there and I'll dig out a pup. Okay, I don't want to touch this pup because this pup is a replacement for that. I don't want to touch that pup because that pup is a replacement for that. And hopefully another one grows in here, which it is right here. So this pup coming in right here is a replacement for this big one. And that pup right there is a replacement for that. So without this, I may not get a replacement. But I'm glad a replacement's coming in. And then of course, the praying hands over here got a replacement right there. And it may get another one coming in. Who knows? Okay, almost forgot. Before I go over there and separate a pup, what you need to do, see those bananas, when they come in, they're gonna be heavy. And that's gonna, if a wind comes and they get too heavy, they're gonna fold over and snap the stalk, and you're gonna lose your bunch of bananas. So what you wanna do is you wanna prop it up. Now, I got some bamboo over here, and basically what you do is you take them and you cross them like this, and you go ahead and put some string over here. And then you're gonna want it like that. I don't want to do it with the pollinators up there. Okay, so right now I didn't want to disturb those pollinators. They might get pissed at me and come after me. But anyway, you can see this tripod that I made right here. I tied it off with some metal, that way, with some wire. That way the string didn't deteriorate and it fall. But basically this here is made out of bamboo. It could be made out of PVC or anything you got. And this is supporting this plant right here. There's no weight on it, but you can see right here, these bananas, especially since this is a small pup stalk, it would fold over and snap with a heavy wind and you lose your bananas. So the same thing with the I'll be doing the same thing with that. I'll put 2 pieces of bamboo, like a pyramid or like a teepee, and just prop it up against there firmly, and that's going to hold up that when it gets really heavy, so it won't go ahead and fall down and break the parent plant, the stalk, you know, the trunk of the tree or the trunk of the banana plant. You get the drift, you know what I'm talking about. So that's what you got to do with all your banana plants. So whenever you could, go ahead and look for some bamboo plants and cut some down and store them. I got a heaping big pile in the back. Every time I need some, I just go over there and get some. So with that said, let's go ahead and check out some pups. I'm going to separate one, show you what the corm and the roots and all that looks like. Okay, so I'm over here by all my banana pups that I planted not too long ago. I got videos on that. And down below, they all have pups. So what I have to determine now is what pup do I want to separate from the parent plant. I want one that's a little bit away from the parent plant so I can show you what it looks like below. But I want to take a nice fat one like this and I want to make sure that it's a sword sucker and not a water sucker. So this one here looks like it might be a good candidate. So let's go ahead and look some more. Now this is far away over here, but I don't want to go ahead, it's too small. This one here is nice and far, but I have this little one right here, so I don't want to disturb it. And these are a little bit too small right now, but let me just go ahead and do that. So I got 1, 2, 3 over here. They'll be coming in nicely. None on this one. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them on that one, but I don't want to get those. This one here has 1, 2 nice ones, and this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that one has 5, 6 of them. Okay, that's actually number 6. And this one has 1, 2 nice ones there. And this has 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think this one would be good for the video. It's spaced out and it's nice and thick. This one here is spaced out, a little thinner. Either one of them are good. I think this one's a water sucker though. See how wide, see how round the tip of that is? Let me go over here and look. See how it's wide and flat at the end? And see how this one comes more to a point? Well, the tip's off, but see how it's more of a point? So I think that's a sword. Anyway, let me go ahead and set up the camera and get with it. Okay, so here I am in front of a sucker that I'm going to go ahead and separate. I got this little tool right here so I could get in between there and remove all the dirt and everything I need to remove so I could see the corm, because I don't want to cut the corm of the parent plant, and I don't want to cut off the roots or the corm of the pup. So let's get going. First things first, always look around the base, tap around, make sure there's no snake under there. I'm removing the chop and drop that I had around it. Now I'm removing the mulch, the chips, the compost, because I want to put that back on there. So I'll just get all this out of my way over here. Okay, I got most of that out of my way. Now, a lot of people just take the shovel like this and they go right down in there and they cut. And I've been known to do that too, but for right now, this is the proper way because you want to visualize. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my compost, which is dirt, horse manure. It's growing in. All my beds are horse manure. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this out of the way so I can get right down in between and show you what I'm doing here. Get all this out of the way. Want to show you how deep I'm going over here. Okay, so I'm going to go and show you what connects the corm to the pup. I'm going to show you the corm of the parent plant to the corm of the pup and the root system. And it's connected by the rhizome right over here. Okay, so you can see right down in here, I cleaned it up so you can see right here where this corm and the rhizome right here in between connects to the corm of the parent plant. Let me get down in here. You could probably see that real good on the video right there. So what I want to do is I want to take the shovel and put it flush against the parent plant's corm. I don't want to go in, I don't want to cut into the parent plant's corm, and I don't want to cut away from it because I'll cut off the root system to the pup. I want to get all that. So let me set up the camera. Okay, so utilizing a flat shovel, you can see how square and flat it is. I'm going to go ahead and take this and I'm going to put it straight down right here, like that. See that? Now, it's towards the parent plant and it's leaving a gap there so I get the corm of the pup down there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Now you got to put pressure. Listen to it separate. Okay, right there, I just separated it. Okay, right there, I just separated it. I got in there really good. It's all the way down. I got the root system. Now I'm going to take this out. Now, utilizing my biggest shovel, I'm going to come in here. I want to miss this pup, and I want to miss the roots. So I'm going to come in here with the biggest shovel, and I'm going to want to get under it, and I'm going to want to lift like that. Okay, see how this comes out? Right here. And if I lift now, right here, shake all that off. See, this is where I cut, right here. See, by leaving this, by not cutting close here, by leaving this, you see where the roots are? If I would have been on this side, I would have missed all those roots and possibly cut off all these roots down here. So let me take this out. Okay, so you can see how I cut that. I left this pup in over here. I left this pup here. I didn't hurt the corm of the parent plant. See, if I remove this, take this shovel out. If I get right down in here. Okay, you can see right here, I got this nice and flat, and I didn't hurt the corm of the parent plant, but I got out all the roots of the pup. So now I'm just going to go ahead and backfill this right here with all the composted manure I have. Going to go ahead and fill that in just like that. Okay, now I'm going to take the mulch and put the mulch back on. Pull all this mulch back. That's the chop and drop, but put that mulch back just like that. Just like I was never in here. Now I'll put the chop and drop back down there. Okay, so there you go. The pup is out. I pushed the compost or the manure or the dirt back over it. I got these two pups growing there, and I put the mulch all around there. So now let's see what the pup looks like and what we need to do with it. Okay, so right over here is the parent plant. All the pups are below. I went ahead and took this pup and I separated it right here. Well, look how much water is coming out on this already. Anyways, I went ahead and cut this off, flush with the corm of the parent plant. If I would have had been on an angle like this or straight down closer to this pup, I would have cut off these roots right over here. It would have went like that. It would have cut them off. And if you don't have any roots on this, there's a good chance that it won't grow. Now, with that said, this pup right here, you can see it's a nice pup. This is actually ready to plant in the ground, but I always plant them in pots and water them so this ball here could get bigger. Plus, I have plenty in pots that are on a waiting list before this one gets planted. But a lot of people go ahead and you'll see them clipping all these roots off so it's nice and round. Now, I never understood, and I still don't understand why they would do that. See, these roots got little roots. See these here? They got little roots coming out. See it right here? Even these roots got little roots coming out. So, everybody knows that the roots of a plant is how it gets its water and drinks and how it gets its nutrients. So basically, I leave these on and I plant them in the pot with all these roots, because as soon as I plant them in the pot, I'm giving them 1.5 gallons water a day, and I'm fertilizing them with compost tea, and I go ahead and fertilize them a couple times a week when they're small like that. So I want them to suck up all that compost tea fertilizer, and I want them to suck up all that water to build even a bigger root system so I could transplant them. Now, what I do, and you've probably seen this in my other videos, is I make my own compost tea out of comfrey Bakken 14 and Mexican sunflower. I mix it in together. Sometimes I use just the Mexican sunflower, and sometimes I just use the comfrey Bakken 14, but most of the time I mix it together because I have a lot more Mexican sunflower than I do comfrey, so I mix it together. And on the parent plants, everybody knows I chop and drop it down below, and that helps get it in. Plus, I fertilize these bigger plants, mature plants, once or twice a week. So anyway, back to the pup. This pup here, okay, so I'm going to take this pup, I'm going to take it over there to my compost pile, put compost in this nursery pot, and I'm going to go ahead and plant it. I'm going to fertilize it, and put mulch on it, and put irrigation on it. So with that said, let's go. Do a little walkthrough over here. If you remember, just the other day I trimmed all these up, and now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves. Let me go down. You notice I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on that. On this parent plant here, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so what I like doing to all my plants is I only like leaving 4 on each plant. So when there's 5, I cut one off, so there's 4, and that's going to go ahead and entice it. That way it grows another stalk out the center, and that helps your banana plant to grow more mature, and it'll fruit quicker. The base will get thicker. Look how thick this base is, and that's a pup. So by doing that, the base is going to get thicker, it's going to grow taller, and depending on the amount of fronds or banana leaves that you trim off as it's growing from 5 to 4, from 5 to 4, from 5 to 4, the plant knows after you reach a certain number of leaves that come off to bear fruit. So it's going to get fatter, thicker, taller, mature, and fruit a lot quicker than it would if you didn't do it. The same thing with the pups. I remove all the pups when it's large enough, except for 1 pup. Some people say 2 or 3 pups. I like leaving 1 pup. That way all the nutrients and energy goes into the plant. But I don't remove the pups until they're a good size to be removed. Sometimes I get a good sized one with a small one that's attached and it's right there and I have to remove it. But basically, that's how you go ahead and have your banana plants grow quicker and produce bananas quicker than it normally would, if at all. So let me go over to the compost pile and get planting. Okay, I'm over here by my compost pile. I'm going to go ahead and fill that up and then transplant. Okay, so this is filled up with compost. So I'm going to go ahead and dig a little hole in here. Okay, I dug a hole in the center and moved all the compost to the side, because I want to be able to take this and put the root ball down below and backfill it. So once again, I have all these roots right here, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that gets down in there like this. All the roots are going down, and with my hand I'm going to go ahead and take it like this and put it down and give it a little twist. And when you give it that little bit of a twist, the roots wrap around nicely. So they're uniform going around, so they'll grow and expand. So now I'm going to go ahead and backfill all this like this and compact it. Press it down. Get that air out. Make sure you're down to the base. Now I'm going to add a little bit more. Okay, this should have it right there. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so as you can see, I went ahead and removed and separated the pup from the parent plant. I went ahead and planted it down right about there above the corm and the roots. I put the roots in, gave it a twist, so all those roots are now ready to suck up all the water and fertilizer and nutrients from the compost over here. Now I need to put chips on that to retain the moisture. Go ahead and fertilize it with compost tea, and then go ahead and put it on my drip irrigation. So let's go get some compost tea and some chips and water it in. Okay, I'm going to get some compost tea, and I'm going to go ahead and fertilize and water this and put chips on it. Okay, here's my compost tea. Filled it up to about there. Now I'm going to fill the rest up with water. Okay, so I'm going to take the hose with water. This is well water. It's not house water that has chlorine in it. I always use lake water or well water because I don't like using chlorine. I feel that it affects the growth of the plant. So I'm filling up the 5-gallon bucket with water, so it dilutes the compost tea roughly around 8 to 10 to 1. That really doesn't matter. It's not going to burn the plant. I wouldn't use it full strength, but you could on bigger plants. Okay, so I'm going to take this compost tea and just pour it in. I used roughly a half of the 5-gallon bucket. I'll put that on something else. Now I'm going to put chips on that. The chips are right here. Going to fill up a container. Okay, I have a container of chips. I'm just going to go ahead and put it all the way around it. Okay, that's it. So let's go ahead and put it on irrigation now. Okay, so I have the plant. I'm going to go ahead and put it over here on the drip irrigation. Go ahead and take a label and label it. Okay, so I got it potted. It's over here. It's got drip irrigation. It's going to grow good. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to cut this one. And I'm just going to go ahead and chop and drop it right here. Just like that. Okay, so now it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm even going to cut this one off and leave 3 on there. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3 on there. Okay, so there you go. Now it's in its nursery place. It's got drip irrigation to it. I'm going to fertilize it twice a week or more with liquid compost tea. And when it comes time to plant, which I can plant now, but when it does come time to plant, when I'm ready and I got a bed prepared, that ball will even have more roots on it, and the plant is going to start getting taller and thicker right here. So with that said, you just see me trim some of this up. Let's go down, and I got some more trimming to do, and I'll show you how to get your banana pups and your banana plants to grow thicker base, taller, faster, and produce fruit a lot quicker than if you didn't do it. So let's get going. Okay, so here I am. I'm by my banana pups. They all have 5 or 6 on the top of leaves, and I want to go ahead and trim them up. I'm going to take 5 leaves, cut 1 off, and make it 4, so they grow taller, quicker, the bases grow thicker, quicker, and they produce blossoms that are going to produce your bananas that you're going to harvest quicker than they would normally. So this is how that's done. Okay, so the easiest way to cut some of these off are with some just regular scissors or a machete. And I don't mean chop, I mean slice. So I'm going to use both just to show you. A lot of times on these bigger ones, it's hard to do it with this, so I do it with a machete. But anyway, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this here is these are the ones that I previously cut. This is the lowest. So I'm going to take the scissors and get right in here and give it a cut. See how easy that was? Now I'm just going to go ahead and chop and drop it just like that. That's all going to fall. It's all going to fall right down to the base of the plant. Okay, that all fell right to the base. Okay, so this all fell to the base, and I'm just going to go ahead and take all this and just put it around, just like that. And that's chop and drop. So, and if pups come up, pups are going to pop right through that. Now this pup here has got 3 because I cut it, and this pup here has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to cut the lowest one right there, and I'm going to drop it right here like that. And since I want the pups to grow quicker, I'm going to cut one more, and I'm going to leave 1, 2, 3. I always leave 3 on the pups and 5, and I take 1 away to leave 4 on the larger plant. So I'm just going to put this just like that, just around the plant. Stalk and all right here, just everything around the plant. Okay. Okay, so I trimmed up the parent plant. This one didn't need anything, and I trimmed this up. See, there's 1, 2, 3 here, and 1, 2, 3 here. Now this is going to come out, and you'll get more, and then you'll do more. So with that said, let me get these. Okay, so I did the last one with the scissors. Now I'm going to show you this. Now, right now I could do these with the scissors, but when they get as tall as those, they're going to be up higher, so it's easier to slice it with the machete. And this is a small machete. I have a longer machete to get up higher. Now if you have one that's way up high, you don't want to climb up on the ladder, get yourself one of those pole saws, and you could just slice it with the blade, get a razor blade on the end, and that will slice 20, 25 feet up, it will slice it. But for right now, I'll show you how you do it with this. Just take the machete right here and just slice. Boom. Don't chop it, just slice it. And you could do the same over here. You can go ahead and cut them with the machete. Just make sure you don't catch your fingers with that. So it's definitely safer to do it with this. Now I'm going to go ahead and put all this chop and drop around the base. Now this is the one that I went ahead and just removed that pup with. But now I'm going to count how many are on these down below. See, this one has 2, but this one has 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to remove 1, 2, and I just left 2 on that one. Now this one here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to remove 2 of these. Now I'm just going to throw it on the bottom. The back side one, I'm cutting 2 off. Okay, so there's 3 on this, 2 on that, 2 on that, 2 on that. That's fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to some others. Okay, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just going to cut that one off. And I'm going to cut this off. Just like that. Now these are pretty thick, you know, for the scissors, but I'm just utilizing it. It would probably be easier with the machete. But you can see how easy it still cuts, especially when it comes to this thin part over here. Same thing over here. Okay, now this pup, I'm going to cut 2 off the bottom. Right here, cut 2 off. This one here, I'm going to cut 1, 2 off, and I'm just going to drop that down there. And I'm going to put all this back underneath for chop and drop. Okay, now I'll get this one. I'll do the bottom on this first. I'm going to take that one off, take this, and that off. Just going to go ahead and put them in here like that. Now I'm going to take this one off right here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take this one off. Chop and drop it. Okay, this has 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 4. Now I'll get those. Okay, so let me trim up the pups. 1, 2, throw that on the bottom. 1, 2. Take 3 off of that one. Take 1 off of that one. Now we'll come up here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to cut 2 off this. Here's 1. 2, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4 left on that. Let me just drop these just like that. Now we'll do this one. This one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to cut 2. 1, 2. Just like that. Okay, I just cut off 2 on this. I'm going to cut 1 more. I'm going to cut, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going to cut 2 off of this one. Okay, so if you look, the tops are all trimmed and the bottom pups are trimmed all the way down. I left 3 on the bottoms and 4 on the tops. So these are all nice and trimmed up right now, just like this. That way they grow quicker and produce fruit quicker. And back right where we started, right at the praying hands banana plant that is bearing fruit right now. As soon as that sun hits the fruit, I'm going to get a better video of the fruit because this morning it was in the shade. Okay, this is the blue java that I just planted the other day. I might as well trim it up since I'm trimming up my banana plants. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to cut off this one, chop and drop it. Now I'm going to cut off this one, chop and drop it. And you could probably see right down the middle over here, that stripe. You can see the little stripe in here. But right here, you can see the darkness stripe. And a little bit right up here. And around the ridge of your plant, right here. You see that color? Blue java. And, see my shirt? You see that? This is the bottom. Do you see this bluish tint? Right here. It's like a film. A grayish blue film. That's what the banana plant, the bananas are going to look like too. They're going to have that same film on it. Okay, so I went ahead and trimmed up my blue java. So it's got 1 in the center and it's got 2 on the side. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's because it's small. I'm going to leave 3 on there as it's growing. Once it gets better, I'll leave, when it gets 5, I'll leave 4. Now, supposedly, the blue java has this stripe right down here in the leaf. And on the bottom side, it has a bluish tint to it. A grayish blue tint. And that's what the bananas should have on them. And that's what makes a blue java plant. So, I'm pretty confident that that's 100% blue java because of the color of the leaf and the stripe going down the center of it. Okay, so with that said, as soon as that sun comes out on the praying hands banana, I'm going to go over there and get a close-up, and you'll get a better view of what the bananas look like of the praying hands with the sun on it. Okay, the sun's just about overhead, so I thought I'd come back over here to the praying hands and see if I could get some better footage since the sun is on them. Okay, that was irritating the pollinators over there because they started to fly around my arm, the camera, and my face, so I decided to back out of there. They were getting aggravated. So, but anyway, sun's not 100% on them, but you can see what the praying hands look like. There's the praying hands right there. They're looking good. Give them a couple weeks, give them a month or two, and they're going to be nice and plump because I'm chopping and dropping, plus I'm fertilizing with compost tea. This is one happy banana plant.